Ready?
I am ready.
Right.
Filters in the flash.
Tyler, this is your show,
This
buddy.
is mine. This is mine. All right.
You run it. You run the show, man.
Forgot this. Call the meeting to order. We have a quorum.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Adoption of the agenda.
Any changes?
Any changes to the agenda? No. All
Nope.
good.
Okay.
Sweet.
So
All
we need a
right.
motion to.
Motion to approve the
Agenda as presented.
Do we have to do seconds in this committee?
No.
Okay. So moved.
perfect.
No.
All right.
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Perfect. Good job.
Adoption of the previous minutes.
Any changes?
Any changes?
That's on you guys. If you might want to make changes to what I write.
No, I think we're good.
Nope.
Motion to approve the
So
previous
moved.
minutes.
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sensational.
Good job, Tyler.
All right.
Sensational. Fantastic.
So really the only thing I had, so item one is discussion of the soundstage and lighting. The only thing I wanted to bring up is Jim, ECE, the guy's named Jim that runs it, gave us the band and everything. He gave me a quote. I asked him for one to let ECE do the stage sound and everything, just so it was only one contact, and he would supply a 16 by 24 stage, sound lights, a generator, and 3 crew members. And he told me prior, he said this is going to be more expensive than the other one, but I just wanted to run it by you guys. He's got it at $8,000 for the sound stage, 2 employees, everything I just said. And that would cover everything the band needs. And he'd be the point of contact and be there and all that. The guy we used last year from ASI Sound, he is giving me a quote. He was supposed to have it to me today, and when I talked to him this morning, he was waiting to hear back from one more specific from the band. But I sent him the rider, so I don't know if this is like more of a very intricate question because he has all the info that I think he should need.
So from last year, Jill, you said that they came back to us at one point and was like, oh, you need more stuff. So what did we end up paying it not through the band guy? What was our grand total? Do we know?
I don't have my computer, but it's
No,
on
I
the
mean,
show.
I'm happy to go and pull that if needed, but what I can tell you is I believe our stage contract was definitely between $5,000 and $6,000 initially. Then, after they received the band rider, there was $1,000 added because it was like all this stuff that the band needed. So that was pushing us up towards between 6 and 7. And on top of that, the day I met him at the park for the installation of the stage, he was like, do y'all realize you didn't order any lights? And I was like, sure we did. And I kept pointing to all the light towers, and he was like, no, babe, I'm talking about your stage. I was like, what do you mean we didn't order lights? So he's like, your stage is going to be pitch black after sun goes down, but he said he was just throwing in lights. He's like, I can't, I'm just putting the lights in for you guys, even
So
though
we
you didn't
would have
order
had to
them.
pay for that.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
and he ended, I don't know, but I have no idea how much, because
Well-
I was not involved in the negotiation of the contract last year.
So do we feel, who negotiated the contract last year?
I think Christina.
Okay. For me, I feel like a one-stop shop, even if we may have to pay a little bit more, may be better because they're gonna have everything. And I'd go back to them and be like, this is everything that we need to have a concert that goes from daylight to darkness. Do we need anything else? Are we covered? And then make sure we've got everything. And I think that having one person handle it makes a lot more sense than trying to piecemeal it, even if it may be a smidge more expensive.
I agree, especially because if the band comes back and requests anything additional,
It's
We
their
could
company.
point it.
that's
They
your
should-
band, that's your problem.
You figure it
deal
out.
with them. Don't come back to me.
Right.
This is the
I
scope
agree.
of the project.
And they know what the band is. They know who it is. They
Yeah.
ought to have all of that information.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think that makes sense to me.
I agree. My only reservation is this particular guy, because last year he switched bands and it was like 3 times. So that's
mean,
my only concern.
We've got
is
a
just the
signed, sealed,
particular,
delivered
but-
contract. So at this point, like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be like, oh, okay, we'll take somebody else.
Mhm.
There'll be a breach of contract. Like, he's gonna have an
Yeah,
issue.
for sure.
So,
All right.
So everybody's good with that, with ECE for the quote.
Everybody's fine with that.
Mhm.
I just keep hearing cha-ching, cha-ching in the back
yeah,
of my
it's
head
running
these days
up.
when it
Well,
comes
we're
to
good at
Marvin
spending
Day.
money we don't have yet.
I know, we're
We're-
real good at it.
We're in there.
Lord.
All right, so we're good on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on to item number 2, discussion of donations of Marvin Day 2024, about the sponsors. I know you had said some stuff at the council.
Yeah, so I informed council that the only thing we were gonna ask them to do was get sponsors. So what I need, because they're like, well, it wasn't as great last year, and so some of our sponsors may not wanna do it, rah, 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 whatever. So what I'm gonna need is, I'm gonna need some promotional something. I'm gonna need maybe the link to the videos and the pictures and the stuff that the lady is supposed to have done, and she was there, we saw her. I would like to have that along with like a great flyer sooner than later. We know what our logo looks like. We don't have to wait on any of the graphics. Like, I would really like to have that put together and then be able to give it to our sponsor people. I would love a list of previous sponsors from the first year and the second year, how much they gave, who their person was, which we have that spreadsheet, but then also who we haven't contacted. And I'm gonna make a big push for this, but I understand their hesitation going back to some of these people, being like, oh, don't you want to sponsor Marvin Day again? They're like, well, there wasn't any, there weren't that many people there. Well, there were, it just may not have seemed like it because it was such a longer amount. So we really need to, I would really like to have kind of like I need marketing materials. So like have a timeline, this is what we're doing here, this is what we're doing here, this is who's doing this, like And then I would say we need to have sponsorship stuff because we're basically a month and a half earlier. We basically need to have sponsorship buttoned up by February, which means we have to start now. So that means I really need this information. I'd like to say by next Tuesday. I'm not gonna push you that hard, Tyler, so I'm gonna say by the work session in September, so the last meeting of the month. I'm gonna need this information. I'm gonna need something that is pretty that we can push out to people.
And a lot of this, Tyler and I have already kind of started. Like, we
Perfect.
already took last year's spreadsheet, made a new one for this year.
Perfect.
We have where everybody was last year. It's super easy to drop into that spreadsheet the people that did it the previous year. Obviously, those are our warmest leads. So those are the people we want to start with, is the people who have said yes to us in the past. I definitely think the council members need coaching on how to go about this for sure, because what for instance, I overheard Mayor Polino saying like he wanted to ask people like, so how many leads did you get from, Marvin Day? And I just feel like the conversations that I had with the sponsors were basically, your time at Marvin Day is for you to make the most of it. And don't hide behind your table. If you want leads, if you want to be talking to people and people aren't visiting your booth,
Then go out and get
go
them.
out.
Yeah.
Go out, handshake, introduce yourself. Hey, do you live in Marvin? How'd you hear about Marvin Day? Oh, blah, blah, whatever. Like, if you're a realtor, pass out your card. If you're doing insurance, I don't care what you do. Like, get out there and start putting your card in people's hands. Don't wait for them to come to you,
So let's schedule, I'm not even kidding, let's schedule a,
And marketing training.
yes, with council.
Mm-hmm.
And you and Tyler, specifically you, Jill, because I know this is not what you're doing now, but
Yeah.
if you can spare some time, because you have talked to so many sponsors in the
Yeah.
past and just had that conversation, because I agree with you, it can't be like, well, what'd you get out of it? Because they might not have gotten anything, but they might not have put anything into it either.
Right, and it's hard to quantify sometimes.
And it's hard
like,
to quantify.
if you're a realtor,
Very
it just
hard.
takes one sale of a house that could happen a year from now
Right.
from someone who saw your name at Marvin Day. So it's like, you don't really know. But my thing is, Tyler has already been tasked with going back to the lady who took the pictures, because I
Perfect.
specifically remember her offering a
Absolutely.
drone video.
Yeah.
So
She had that, I saw her with the.
yeah, so we need that video. He's already worked, and he'll probably tell you this, but he's
And
already
some
working
pictures,
on
just pictures
redoing
and
the
stuff too.
letter. Remember how we
Perfect,
wrote an
yep.
appeal letter last year?
Yep.
And he's working on redoing some of the levels, because I
Okay.
do feel like it's time to revisit that. We have a huge gap from 1,000
To
to
5,000.
5,000.
Yeah, silver to gold.
But I also think we have a big gap, like, not, like, I think
Like
there's
a
a lot of.
250,
Yeah, there's a lot
500.
of smaller businesses
yeah.
that could probably do 250, but 500 is a lot for them.
Right.
And I don't wanna turn anybody away,
No.
so I think he's looking at maybe broadening some levels and adding a 250 and maybe adding a 2,500 or a 3,000, but I'll wait and let him talk about that. But
Perfect. So
that's already
you
in
keep
the
working
works.
on that, but I would really like to kind of have that firmed up by the work session.
Mhm.
Okay, that gives you about a month to play with it. September's a long month.
Are you giving people the option to sponsor like one thing or the other? You know, we talked about separating the 5K fun run.
Well,
the
that's a
drive.
totally different
Yep.
day. We're doing the fun run in June. Marvin
Okay.
Day is
Yeah,
gonna
and we've
be.
never really, I mean, the 5K, because people pay to do it.
Yeah, you don't need
We,
sponsors.
a lot of it ends up getting paid for, but it's not a bad idea to seek a sponsor of our 5K every year. We probably would only need one, like one.
Because Publix was there. That was
Yeah.
where they wanted to be and they sponsored.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Might have to.
Well, and Deb, what you said just,
And if it's like a workout place, I mean, they're going to probably want to be at the 5K fun run, maybe more. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how sponsors that sponsored because of the
health
5K
fair.
are different from what, like, it's now separate, so they may have different thoughts about where they're positioned. But I do think that, are we still going to do for the highest sponsor, give them a chance to put their name on it,
Yes.
like the fireworks or, yeah.
I think you have to be five.
Yeah, you're gonna be
5,000
way up there, yeah.
to be able to choose what you want your name attached to.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The other thing that might be a little bit different here this year affecting sponsorships is last year, because we had the 5K and people paid a booth fee to be there, so it was a little bit of money.
We waived it.
We waived it.
That we waived that. Okay. And then this year, so last year it was like you only get to be at Effort if you sponsored.
Mhm.
So is that going to be the entry level for having a booth if you're any kind of vendor?
No, we just don't have the space for that.
Okay.
But I think that's how you encourage people to take a higher sponsorship level, is you have the ability to have a space at Marvin Day, a 10 by 10 booth space.
Mhm.
If you're at this level and above, I think below certain levels, you're still getting certain perks, like you're gonna have your name on our
Mhm.
materials, our website, we'll link to you, we'll give you a shout out, you'll be on the t-shirt and all that fun stuff. But one thing I was gonna talk to Tyler about was the possibility of having for the smaller sponsors, like 500 and 250 or whatever, that aren't gonna be at Marvin Day, maybe we have one 10 by 10 dedicated booth where they are welcome to put out some of their marketing materials. So all of them, like however many of them. You wanna give me a box of tchotchkes, I'll put your stuff on the table for you. We'll put flyers, brochures, business cards. You won't be on site and you won't have a dedicated space, but collectively, you all will have a place to put some of your information. And I think that might also get
Okay, so in
some
order
folks.
to be on site, you're gonna have to be at the 500 level or higher.
I think 1,000, that's what we've normally done.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we just don't have the space
Okay.
with everything that we want to do.
Okay.
So that's why
So
last year
what
there
you're
was
saying
about,
is you've
there was
got to do
about,
something for
11.
the 250s and the 500s to make.
Well, yeah, otherwise why would you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, other than to take the tax write-off and feel like a good person. I mean, you're
Right.
not getting any
Yeah.
return for that money unless there's
so,
something.
and that's where the kind of training on how to go about having that conversation takes place,
Mhm.
because it's less about what you're getting out of it and more like
Mhm.
why you should do it,
Mhm.
But I think people have to understand, at the 500 level, you're still gonna be getting, like I said, your business will get promoted via
Right.
social media, via newsletters, via the signs, the banners, the t-shirts.
Mhm.
You'll be represented,
We just won't have a representative.
You just won't have a
Well, you just
10 by
won't have a
10
physical
representative
space,
on
yeah.
site the night of the concert.
Okay.
But I'm also not opposed to them coming to Marvin Day,
And walking around.
walk around. I'm not gonna give you a dedicated booth space, that doesn't mean you can't come and hand out your business cards and be like, hey, I'm a sponsor. So glad you're here, here's my card, you know,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
you wanna come,
Like wear your
come,
hat,
but I'm
your
not giving
shirt,
you a
yeah.
booth and a tent and tables, cause I don't have a space for everybody, you know?
Okay. Tyler, I would like also in whatever you're giving me marketing material wise, I would kind of like a quick snapshot of what our advertising is going to consist of and when it will start. And that will help give you a nice outline to start that, because we, not our fault last year, but we got way behind the 8 ball because we had somebody who said they were gonna give us stuff and didn't. So, our fault, but not our fault. So, we've gotta make sure that we've got stuff going out way earlier than it ever did. And we've gotta have more banners, bigger banners, put them along Village Hall, along this road. I guarantee the Zepsa property will have no problem with us throwing it in their yard while they're doing construction. So we'll get them out of the roundabout so DOT can't say anything about it. But I mean, we fell down on that. And again, it wasn't our fault, but we've got to do a better job of, I mean, making it irritating for people to see it so that they know when it's happening. I'm serious.
Yeah, this year, like, in my opinion, because we've already got the big stuff out of the way, like, we already know the date, the time, we know the band, all of that's locked in, we know we're having fireworks, we know we're having all these people are locked in. So, in my opinion, we should already be having our communication consultant setting up those events on Facebook. Set up the event, like, create it so it can start existing. But I'm already seeing events for next year popping up in my
I mean,
Facebook
I'd be like,
newsfeed.
hey, mark your calendars. Marvin Day's coming again. Here's the
Right.
date. Put
Right.
it on your
Especially 'cause
calendar.
it's earlier.
It's
Just
earlier.
because it's earlier.
And what I would like to see us do, which I think could be kind of cool, is utilizing the new branding and all the fun kind of logos we got. It would be super easy for us to go into Canva and create something cute with our Marvin Day logo that says like, I'm a 2024 Marvin Day sponsor, and it's like a social media graphic. And we'll send that to these companies as they sign up and let them promote, hey, I'm sponsoring Marvin Day this year, you know.
Or you do like a shout out to different sponsors
Mhm.
going up to the event.
Yeah.
You know?
Which
I mean,
we
we
do.
had that. We
We
did. I
do
mean,
that.
we did that. It was
Um,
definitely on our marketing stuff. But maybe it's like, you know, we'll pick our gold sponsors this week and be like, hey, these are our gold sponsors. In the next week, these are our silver sponsors. But
If
yeah.
they want something to hang in there, if they have a physical storefront and they want something to hang in, we can create an easy printout they can stick in their front window that says,
Yep.
you know, I'm a Marvin Day 2024 sponsor or whatever.
We have graphics already that says they're a village event sponsor, so we could either alter that or use that same logo and put the Marvin Day logo with it. So we have those materials already.
I don't know how many of them would care to put it in their window front, but we could offer it as
If
part of
we're-
like, hey, we'll even give you a stack of flyers to put on your checkout counter if you want.
Yep.
We'll make a flyer for Marvin Day and you can,
That's what we did the first year. And I mean, I think people liked it, like doctor's offices, like put it like when people are checking in, like, oh, what's this? You know, and then
We talked about having a flyer for the 5K fun run with like a QR code to register to do it and leaving it at some of the, you know,
yeah, the running
more
stores and stuff.
medical,
Yeah. Well,
you know,
running
people
stores.
who would,
The orthopedics.
yeah, well, people that
Gyms.
were, yeah, the gym, people that would come and do the health fair and set up, they would be happy to leave that out for their customers to see. And then it's not like, oh, there's that 5K fun run, you know, and then you're trying to find the link on your, you know, you just sign up,
well, and I do specifically remember for this past Marvin Day, kind of getting direction that I think we have since reversed, that one of the goals of Marvin Day was for it to benefit Marvin residents and maybe not to shout it from the rooftops. I feel like that has since changed because we've had 2 years in a row where the attendance is not quite what we had wanted. So I feel like now the direction is, now we've got buses, trolleys, whatever, shuttles shout it from the rooftops and we'll just deal with it, but like get the people here. So whereas 2 years ago, we did, we were advertising it on Google and Charlotte on the Cheap and things to do in Charlotte. We were pushing it out everywhere. Last year we didn't because we were sort of
Well, we weren't sure how the park was gonna
sure.
go.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's in our plan too, to put it on Town Planner, Charlotte on the Cheap, like all these places,
No, I
fun
think
things to
it's
do in
good.
Charlotte. It'll start to get advertised like crazy.
Tyler, when you're looking and you're rewording the sponsorship levels, I would put in there like you get 1 parking pass
Yeah.
for the park. I mean, and maybe platinum and gold get 2, but don't bring 8 people in 8 different cars because you're gonna get 1 parking spot. I'll work the gate. I'll be happy to work the gate. But we need to put that in there so that people know that we're gonna have, you get 1. That's all you get.
You want my husband up there with you again?
No, he's too nice. I love him. He's too nice. No, you need somebody who's way meaner.
The cops were meaner than he was.
Yeah, but me and Tommy will stand up there and do it. Okay, I think it's good. I mean, but we got to start now. Like it's September. This is coming in April. Like we gotta start moving on this. So if you can have all of that, and if you need to talk to me about it, call me or email me or text me or whatever. I'll come in. We'll work on it. But what I was gonna say for training is maybe after that work session, we just tell everybody, or we just put it in the work session. No, we should. Well, yeah, we'll just put it in the work session. We'll put it on the work session. We'll have a marketing training put this on the agenda. Marketing training for Marvin Day. Jill will do it. We'll just put it in the meeting, so everybody's there.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously this isn't everybody's strong suit, and
And that's fine, but
they just
we're
need a
not,
little bit
I'm
of
not
help.
asking you to do anything else.
I know.
I'll write you a script. Like, we will sit
Exactly.
down and write you a script, and you can call people, or you can practice it and go into a business.
Yeah, because the other thing was last year.
Nope, it's fine. We're good. We've got a plan.
Yes.
We're gonna work on it.
One thing I need is the
Follow up.
follow up
Yep.
and the follow through.
Yep.
So
Not, oh yeah, they said they were gonna do this, and then
yes,
then
like I had about $20,000
Yep,
worth of
I know.
people who said they were so interested in doing this, and then never heard from them.
I know.
And it was like, whatever happened with them? Oh, you never heard from them? No. Did you ever follow up with them?
No,
So
I know.
there needs to be this like, you have to manage your list of contacts, and there was also a lot of chasing after them that Mary was doing to get updates. So I don't know what the solution to that is, but I feel like there needs to be,
We'll work on it.
yeah,
We'll work on it.
okay.
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 Speaking of donations, before you move on.
Oh. At our events that we're having, like trick or treat in the park, the
Mhm.
tree lighting, when people come and drop off stuff for the friendship tree, we should have flyers. We should have flyers there for Marvin Day.
Yeah.
Hand them out. Give them out. As people are walking around trick or treating, have you heard about Marvin Day? Here's a flyer. We're doing it in April. Literally every event that we have, the brew and queue, we should be having all that stuff. We should have everything that we're doing should push back to Marvin Day. Sorry.
So what about promoting the actual, like, right now we have flyers up there, but they're to promote the trick or treat event.
So when people get to the trick or treat event, give them a Marvin Day flyer.
Okay.
Keep promoting the events individually.
Because we can make one really cool flyer that has all of our events that are coming up, and
I mean, I think that was great because I love the one that was out here that was on the big thing when people came in. So if we can do something like that and have like from now until Marvin Day or now until the 5K,
yeah,
we can plop some stuff on there, a calendar of events. Here's what's coming. I mean, that's a great idea. That I think would be really beneficial for people who like to plan and put stuff on their calendar, whether they can come or not. They're like, oh, whatever. But then, in addition to, have a specific flyer for Marvin Day at these events.
I also feel like we could have there's no reason we couldn't put a Marvin Day flyer on every seat in our gallery in the council chambers for every
Absolutely.
time we're having a meeting.
Absolutely.
I mean, if no one sits there,
Then that's fine. They'll
it's
sit there
left
until the next
behind.
meeting. Yeah.
Seriously. I'm serious, like,
Listen,
Let these people take it
over
with
the
them.
past 3 weeks, we would have had a lot of people taking some flyers.
mhm.
So, we probably won't have anybody come in the next 3 months, but
Can y'all keep doing some controversial stuff so people will come in?
Don't make my job harder.
Just kidding.
So, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I think we should get a flyer together and, start handing them out. And get it to me and I'll send it to the PTO and start pushing that out, because I did it for
Yeah.
the trick or treat and they were happy to do it for the high school and actually the middle school. I don't know about the high school, the middle school and the elementary school, but they're happy to send that stuff out. And that's probably more age appropriate than high school.
Yeah.
trick or treat.
I was just gonna say, for the last thing on sponsorships, well, my last thing, he might have more, but, I feel like during that training or during this sort of pep talk with council, what we need to make clear is that we're already on the hook, to Austin's point, we're good at spending money we don't have yet. Because we have to lock in these contracts and these people, I'm happy to come up with a number for that meeting of, here's how much we've already kind of
Yeah, that would be
agreed
good.
to and committed to and spent on this event. And, I know that council really likes to be able to say that taxpayer dollars are not going towards this event. But in order to be able to continue to say that, there has to be which do you want more? Do you want to be able to say you're not using taxpayer dollars for this event so you don't get criticized? Then we've got to step up the sponsorship. It just has to happen.
Yep.
Or we're going to have to start earmarking out of fund balance money to cover what we're spending that we're not raising in sponsorships. And you lose that ability to say you're not using
Yeah.
taxpayer money.
That's
Yeah.
being spread online right now a lot.
What is?
That Marvin Day is paid for with taxpayer funds. I'm seeing it a lot.
Yeah, I
Just
know,
letting it
and that, but they keep countering that by telling everybody it's 100% paid for by sponsorships. But unless we step up our sponsorship efforts and
Then we're gonna
everybody's
have
on
to.
board with it, they will no longer be able to say that and address those criticisms,
That's fine. People are gonna make up shit, so.
Yeah.
You can only do so much.
Remind me the date.
April 27th?
Our past sponsors, obviously we've gotten past sponsors, we've had them do things, we've got them. Some of them are like staff, like you guys have handled just talking to them. Some of our bigger sponsors. Do you wanna do that again, or do you wanna divvy that up?
So he has on the spreadsheet, and I think his plan is to do this with you all in that council meeting, but we've got the spreadsheet and it has everyone's name of who handled them last year. Whether or not we continue that and that's your person every year, or whether it makes sense to shuffle some things around.
Well, I'm
We'll
just thinking,
see.
cause like Jones Homes, for
Mhm.
example, who has been our sponsor for 2 years, that started off with Hunter, and then you took him over, and then, I don't see any reason that we need to step in.
No, yeah.
So
No, I
people
understand what
like
you mean.
that, if
Well,
it's
and
been-
technically, it doesn't fall just on council. The expectation
No, I
is
know,
staff
for
and
staff.
council together.
I know,
So
I know.
we do have some staff already listed with contacts
Okay.
on there. Like I harassed my insurance guy who's down the road and whatever. Like there's my Botox lady, whatever.
Yeah.
We hit people up. But
That was tag team.
not everybody did. Some staff had similar issues where they didn't feel comfortable asking people for money either. But it's you got to get over the mindset. You're not asking people for money. You're
asking to
them if
sponsor
they
an
would
event.
like to support a great community event,
Yes.
and in exchange, we will promote their business. It's a win-win for both.
Maybe we do need to change up the wording too on our request for a sponsorship. Maybe we need to go down you're supporting a great community event, and in the meantime, you're able to advertise your business. Maybe we need to kind of wordsmith that a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, think on this too, when I'm looking for health fair participants, some of them might want to sponsor as well as, you know, be part of the 5K fun run. So even though they could do the health fair for free, they might like the double exposure and do like the 250 or the 500 just to
Yeah,
something.
that would be good.
Like, oh, thanks for letting me be the,
Yeah.
you know, for free. I'll
Be
give you
on the
250
advertising, be on the t-shirt, all that stuff.
mean,
I don't think
that's
we
a
need-
good point. We could offer the 250 and 500 people. Listen, we don't have enough space at the park for you to be there on Marvin Day, but if you come in at the 250 or 500 level, we could probably offer you that at the 5K in
Yeah.
June. It's a much smaller event, but you know, we would have a space for you there.
Well, we talked about blowing that up too, though, so.
I know, but you're requiring people to jog, so you can blow it up as much as you want, but it's not ever gonna be as big as like a festival.
Oh,
you know?
right, no, I agree.
So,
What's the difference between the 250 and 500 level?
I'm not
One
sure
is
he's even done it yet.
$250, which
This
is
is
lower.
lower.
The other is 500, which is higher. There's
Yes.
250 now.
I don't know.
Probably not much except that, literally.
Just like the dollar sign.
Literally.
I think.
Probably not much. I wouldn't think that there's gonna be much difference between the two. Because
I'm just wondering what the incentive, if I can get in and give
at
you
250, the
250.
same thing if so maybe we don't offer 250, but maybe we offer 250 and your name's only on the t-shirt. 500, you're on all of the flyers and you're on all of the.
Or maybe 500 gets you on the booth.
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
at the 5K. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's good. 500,
She's walking away.
Is that on the recording? Okay.
Okay, anything else about sponsorships, Tyler?
Nothing crazy. As long as everybody's good with like doing a 250 and then probably something in between, like a 2,500 or something in between a 1,000 and 5,000. Change the word and probably turn platinum into like diamond and move platinum gold down.
Yeah, you'll have to exhaust the
Yeah, it's gonna get really
The,
elemental.
If you go
the
lower, you
metallic hierarchy.
if you do go lower, you could do like a copper level or
Copper, yeah, aluminum.
Tin.
Tin can, yeah, lead.
No, so if everybody's good off of that,
We're not doing the art at Firethorn anymore, right?
There's nothing happening at Firethorn
Nothing
this time. And
And they're not interested in.
most
Doing anything
most artists do
solitary.
not want to do, I mean, there are a lot of artists that do outdoor events. Just all the ones that are sort of mostly local to here, like none of the Marvin resident artists want to do outside events because most of them are older or they just have other things going on.
And they don't want to do events that have children there, like the kids' events, right? For the most
Well, that's, yeah, a couple of them, the same older women,
Yeah.
you know, and one of the women who came to the Firethorn, she was like, I would be interested, but I'm not going to do anything outdoors because she's older too.
Is Firethorn gonna sponsor Marvin Day?
They have
And
every
a
year,
booth
so
that
we'll
they
see.
can then do their member drive maybe from a booth.
That probably they have every single year, and I'm sure Kim's gonna hit them up again.
Who?
Firethorn.
I was
To
saying,
sponsor a booth,
I
not
was saying
that.
maybe they're a sponsor and then they can do their membership drive from the booth since we're not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down and have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as having any kind of arts crafts vendor kind of thing, that is sort of nebulous, but I think is fading
I
with.
think it would have gone so much better if they had marketed it as like a sip and shop. Like I didn't even
They
know
didn't
they were
market
gonna
it,
have,
Deb.
like,
They didn't market
drinks
it.
and stuff.
They didn't market it, that was the problem. And it wasn't our responsibility. Again, it goes back to
Yeah.
you. If you've got to take some level of responsibility for getting out there and putting yourself out there and advertising. Like, we can only do so much. And when I went to click here for more information, it was the flyer of what was going on at the park.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't really want to have that conversation, but I will.
Yeah. I had my husband texting people that the food trucks were there. You know, I
Nobody
figured
knew.
They were done golfing. They could
Nobody
go.
knew what was happening. Okay.
okay.
That it?
Good on sponsors. I just slid this in front of y'all. It's a quote from the charter business. They don't have any of the buses like we had last year, but they do have 3 available trolleys, and that's the price tag on those.
So we didn't realize that the Queen
something
Queen's Cup
steeplechase.
steeplechase is the same day as Marvin Day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said. I was like, son
I don't know
of
if
a-
they've had that day though, because like that
So-
day just popped up like the
It's
other
always
day.
the last Saturday in April.
Ah,
Yeah.
I never.
So he's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, this is our own miniature version of the Kentucky Derby that happens right here in
Yeah, I was
Union
like, what is
County with the
this?
crazy hats and all. So the buses are not available because they're all booked for that. So he did say, do we have to change the date? And I was like, God, I hope not, because we've got so many contracts already
Already
in
locked
place.
in.
But they do have the open air trolleys that Waxhaw uses a lot for their festivals. I personally, my kids loved them. I loved them. They're fun. And they seat more people than the buses did. So the shuttles could fit like 15 to 17 people. These trolleys can fit at least 24.
Okay.
But they're also more expensive and they're open air.
I like open air trolleys.
I do too.
I'm gonna get more quotes from like different, but this is just the charter people we used last year, and I inquired about them. But I just wanted to put that in front of y'all.
Do you think that's gonna take away from attendance? Because that's
It was over
happening the
pretty
same
early.
day?
I mean,
When-
steeplechase, in my opinion, is a very adult-oriented
I agree.
thing.
I think it's a
Okay.
specific
like-
crowd.
It's a specific crowd. They like to get dressed up and have their cocktails and wear their hats and they do their parties.
They're usually wrapping up, coming back over
Yeah, what
by
time
like
is that
5
over?
or 6.
Mhm. Yeah, it's an all-day long thing.
Yeah, but they start early, so they could
It's
even
not.
hop over and do the concert afterwards.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, yes, I don't love that price tag that is
Right.
attached to that at the bottom of the thing. So I would definitely like to get some more quotes, but let's keep this as an option.
Yeah, I
for
just
sure.
wanted to put it in front of y'all a
Yeah,
little
for
bit.
sure.
The trolleys do have the ADA components.
I'm sure they have to. I guess I didn't.
Let's,
I didn't
let's
ask
double.
them,
Let's just
but-
double check that.
If not, you'll have to provide ADA parking on site.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is not on the agenda.
I'm so glad we hired you.
Can I ask Matt a question? It's not on the agenda.
Fire away.
What do we need at the park different than we didn't have this year? What were you lacking? Were you good with bathrooms? What logistically? Lights, the light towers worked out well.
Well, I don't think of anything that we
Okay.
could add or subtract.
Okay. I would
I would
definitely
say barricades because we borrowed them from Waxhaw last year. So if we,
borrow them again.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we have to either make sure that they can let us borrow them again
Yeah.
and they're not already lending them out to steeplechase. I doubt it, but we need to make sure we can borrow them again.
Yeah. So let's ask
And
that.
we might even need more because I feel like
More would be better
More would be
because
better.
last year, even though it
we
was
have people
roped
sneaking
off,
on the trail.
yeah, we had people on the trail that was getting in the firework perimeter.
Okay.
So we do need more barricades.
Okay. So more barricades. Okay.
Or we get a quote to rent them ourselves. if
Okay.
we-
Well, let's try to borrow first.
Mhm.
Beg, borrow, and steal. Not steal. Beg and borrow.
Tomorrow.
You may want to include a sign on the trail saying danger past this point.
Last year, we
It's
just,
on you if you walk past the barricade.
last year
Him
we
on
just
the
had
trail.
trail closed.
No, she's already working the gate.
I'm already working the gate, Deb. I can't be in 2 places at once. I can't be the heavy for that.
Past this
too.
point, you may be shot with fireworks.
Except for when you're
Or just
in the
shop.
dunk tank.
And just don't specify by what.
Trespassers volunteer for the dunk tank.
Ooh, that's
Yeah, we're not
nice.
doing a dunk tank, right? I don't think
It's
so.
too cold.
That's
It's
what
too
I
late.
remember.
Oh,
It's too
that was
short.
so much
We were
fun
looking at our
dunking,
notes
y'all.
and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they said it was gonna be too cold.
I told
Oh, I
them that
knocked
I would
them
let
all
them
in.
off of the dunk tank responsibility if they ask for donations.
Oh, that's cool. So
Sponsorships.
I told Tyler he should push for a dunk tank at the 5K and push for council to be in attendance. It's June 1st.
That's great. I'll do that. I'll do that in the morning. Totes.
Also,
I mean,
what's
I'm not in town on June 1st, but I'll totally be signing
But-
me up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
what's the
kidding.
neighborhood right beside the park there?
Walden Pond.
Walden Pond. If we could communicate with them, last year there was 2 guys that come up on their canoe, and they come up through the trail, and one of them give them a hard time, and the firework guys start to call the deputies down there to get him out of the firework perimeter.
I mean,
Interesting.
We will
They're
let
not
them,
Marvin,
but
they're
we
very
will let
busy.
them know that
Alright.
we are having an event and that we will be having fireworks again on Village of Marvin property.
Yeah,
And-
we need to saturate that because.
But I would just let them know. But I'm not gonna change it. I'm not gonna bend over backwards. They're
Yeah.
not in Marvin. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
Well, I was saying if we could communicate to them not to come off
Not to
the
come
Yeah.
onto the.
pond on the Marvin property, because they had 2 last year. I said one
firework
of them,
perimeter.
he said was a, you know
Okay.
what, to them.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Hopefully we didn't hear about that before then. Okay. I do want to figure out, Tyler, where to do the bus drop off, because at the front that did not work very well. I really thought I really thought that was gonna work well. It did not. I'm thinking we may just
Is it
need to
the
come
whole
down
turnaround?
and
Just use the barn.
just use the barn turnaround. I hate having vehicles come in that far, but I
That 3-point turn.
it was rough.
Mm.
Yeah. And it did take up some parking that we could have used.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm.
okay, that's it, sorry. Okay.
Oh, I mean, that's,
Well, you wouldn't have to use that area like we used it this past year with the wine and the beer. They could just have smaller tents over by the food trucks, so you could use that for pickup.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just affect our map to make sure.
And maybe we use the front parking lot for food and wine, and we use the back parking lot for vendor parking.
yeah, I mean, the only reason we even had the turnaround and the drop-off zone be up top was because
We don't want people driving through.
it's just such a nightmare to keep the flipping kids from running into the road, and it was like, we would need somebody at
More
all
barricades.
times in the roads, like, the
I know.
parents don't watch
But
them.
but
the
it's
kids
also,
are
but it's
already-
a shorter time.
Yeah,
it's not
but it's
all-
at night.
It's not all day, it was at night, well, yeah.
What are the hours again of it?
3 to
4 to
9.
4 to like 9:30.
4 to
Band
9:30.
stops at 9:15. Fireworks start, so maybe 9:45 really.
Let me ask, one of our previous meetings, they made the decision not to do the light towers this year.
Who did?
No, we need
Did
light
they?
tower. No, we need them.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have-
definitely-
we have-
We have to have them.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's my fault. I thought I remember saying it wasn't doing them.
I was gonna say, who decided that? 'Cause
One
I'm
thing
not
I can think of
over
is
that.
maybe setting up like 2 dedicated crosswalks, like knowing not everyone's gonna follow them,
We'll
but
just
if
have
there's a way to
barricades.
rope
No,
things
just have,
off.
just have barricades all the way down and have 2 openings
Yeah,
at 2
this is where you
spots
can
to
cross.
cross.
And then we can have a person there stopping traffic and helping people cross.
There's not gonna be that much traffic.
No,
Like, it's not gonna be that much. But I mean, that's not a bad idea, Jill, from the entrance to just past the barn horseshoe. Just have barricades lining it so people just can't, willy-nilly go across, and just have 2 separate spaces to cross.
One other thing to think about, it was really annoying last year. Vendors were parking at the barn to unload, and then they just wouldn't move. And we were trying to figure out whose vehicle was whose. So you might not want to.
Well, they need,
Loading and
it needs to be communicated that if you don't have your parking pass in your car window, your car will be towed. I have no problem towing a car or putting a boot on it. I'm serious.
Kim will do it herself.
nobody
That's
should
okay.
even be parking and turning off their car in that.
Nope.
Right? Yeah, you shouldn't
You
turn
should-
it off.
It's a loading zone. Unload, put all your boxes on the curb, drive and park your car and cut through the trail.
And I mean,
Like-
I'll have the stage people say, there is a car here. It is getting ready to be towed.
Mhm,
Come move it.
mhm.
Listen, I'm not,
You just need one person at that parking lot saying, drop your stuff and go park. This is an unloading and
yeah,
moving
well, yeah,
zone.
we'll definitely need a staff board person
Mhm,
doing that. Because again, we're gonna give them a window to set up.
yeah.
You can come set up from 2 to 3, move your car, be ready, there you go.
Mhm.
The only people that should be coming in are is if we have anybody has live animals again. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else, Tyler?
I don't think so. I think we'll get that going. We got all the food trucks, got all the DJs, got the parking lot, all the vendors are locked in.
The lobster truck that I said, oh yeah, we totally.
You said,
have
oh, we
that."
got that. I was like, oh.
I know,
Like,
I was
you're like-
watching that from home and I was like,
Yeah. Did we get the
Yeah.
lobster truck?
no.
No.
No, they want a $3,000 minimum.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we told them to
The
bug off.
cousin's lobster.
That's right.
We went Hungry Howie's, I taught, and the third one, 2 people on the hook are waiting on me to tell them, yeah, I have Hot Diggity Dog, which is like a,
Gosh, these names.
yeah, it's but they do like, that would be like the sandwich and hot dog place, obviously, and they're like real cheap, but it's high quality, I see. And then there's a soul food barbecue joint, but they're asking for we've been talking their minimum down. They've been talking pretty high on a minimum. But by the end of the day, I'm probably just going to tell Hot Diggity Dog that
I'd go with the person who's not gonna make us do a minimum.
that's going to be them. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Gonna do that. Well, the dessert truck is Emergent Sweets. Have y'all ever had that?
Mhm.
It's an ambulance, and it's like Emergent Sweets, and they do like mason jarred cobbler and ice cream. And it's so sweet.
That's cool, but I don't know.
Minimum?
If that's I feel like it's bad luck or something. I don't know.
You got it, ambulance
I
right
I
there.
love that.
But
Okay.
all right.
Alright, anything else?
Blah, blah, blah. Should I have a motion to adjourn the meeting
At 11:49.
at 11:49
So
a.m.
moved.
on September 5th.
So moved. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. Good job. Good job, Tyler.
Okay.
I think it's a good handwriting.
Yeah.